Hello, my name is Dellair Youssef. This is Revision Soziokultur podcast.
Who are you? And can you please introduce yourself?
I am Kala Schwarz, and I am trained as an architect and urban planner. And I'm working now with S27 since 2 years. I started to work for a project called Urban Praxis, Urbane Praxis, which is a network of, or it started as a network of 10 or 12 initiatives, and now it's growing. And now I'm working in the coordination of the S27.
Okay, my name is Vera, and I'm also working at S27 since 7 years, or almost 8 years, 7 years. And I'm trained as a social worker originally, and right now I'm working also as a program coordinator and in the lead of the Department of Social Work at S27.
That's nice. So tell me a little bit about S27. What do you do and how many people working there? And
so S27, in my words, is a community art and cultural center for young people in Berlin. It's has its birthday of 40 years now, so it's existing since the 80s. And our main goal is to work with young people and almost adult people in Berlin to create situations and spaces in Berlin where people can connect with the city or with the regular system in Berlin. So I would say we are an art laboratory, you say? Yeah, laboratory, where people can come to and connect with artists, educators, designers, handcraft people, so from different disciplines. And the goal is to make educational spaces through artistic work where mainly right now people with migration or refugee background come to our place to get a space where they can first arrive and then orientate in the city, what possibilities they have to come into work or educational systems. And if you break it down on a simple system, it's like they get a community, they get language classes, they get artistic classes, and they get handcraft classes or design, or it can be everything, but it's about the community to work together and to find really a first entrance into the social, cultural, and educational and vocational system in Germany, and or especially in Berlin.
okay, can you just maybe try to make me understand how this different kind of activists work together, because you work in culture, art, education, theater, music, even cooking that I know you do, and how this all could work on one place and all of these things. And if you tell me a little bit about your work methodology too.
Also, I think because Vera works here since a much longer time than me, I see this place also as a place which is very special because people working here from very different backgrounds. We have people from art, with an art background. We have people with a social working background. We have architects, urban planners, people from theater, finance people working here, but they don't work just on their positions, what they are trained as. They also sometimes switch positions. And I think like people coming into Schleswig, either they're working here or they're trainees. We call the people coming here like trainees. They come in a system which is very flexible on the one side, but also gives a day structure. Like this day structure is with the German classes and with workshops in the afternoon, but it's also very flexible because you can choose between your different workshops, and also the organization itself changes a lot because places are changing. Like one time you go in the first floor where you find your workshop, and then the next day you come and it's totally mixed up and you find your workshop in the basement because somebody thought it's a better idea to have it. So it's a place where you get an idea, everything is possible, you just have to do it. Or you have to get an idea and then you can just do it yourself.
So you open like the place for any idea that comes in and like you can do it. But
I wouldn't say it like that, no.
Okay.
So maybe we start again. I would say S27 is a space, like a physical space in the city where all these colleagues from the different backgrounds are working, but we have quite a clear, actually, structure, what our goal is. And our goal is to give every person in the city a space and the possibility to connect to the different levels of systems in the city. So the educational system, the vocational system, the sociocultural system. So when you arrive in Berlin as a new person, doesn't matter for which reason you're arriving new, it's like you can come here and find a space where you first connect, and then you can get like language classes, which is a basic need for most of the people, and you get training in different workshop, how you say that, handcraft workshops. Mm-hmm. So what you can do is like you can arrive here and you can learn the language and what you can do with your hands. From the methodology, we are quite connected to the Bauhaus philosophy, to say, like when you apply for the university at the Bauhaus University, you have like a pre-class. That's 1 year, and you go like through 7 different fields, like for example, metal, wood, painting or colors, textile. And then the idea is that like you experiment yourself in all these different fields, and after that you can decide which is your field you want to go into it. So the idea is like that you don't do educational or cultural, educational, artistic workshops with the persons and ask them, hey, what do you want to do? Do you like drawing or do you like constructing with wood? The concept is the other way around. You can't choose what you do. You have to try out new things. So at the moment you are trying out new things and you think, oh shit, I can't work with wood at all. But you are into that class or into that group. You realize at the end of the workshop time, hey, that's what I did. So you get a moment of empowerment. And that moment you create with well-trained colleagues out of the field of design and architects and handcraft people. So it's not like putting something together and gluing without a concept. It's like the need is to have good people on the artistic side. So if I would build a chair with a trainee, it wouldn't create a moment like that because I'm not well trained to make a good product out of wood. Yeah, that idea or concept that people, any person needs moments of new experience to experience that you are able to create something, that you are able to be part of a process. And on the next level, it's like our goal is to tell the people or to teach the people and to learn also from them that they are a part of Berlin and the city and the system that we're all creating together, in which circumstances, areas we are living in Berlin. So we are working a lot with physical spaces, actually.
That's pretty interesting. How important is to bring like many artists and activists and normal people together in a city like Berlin? Do you feel, do you see the impact that you do on these people and later on the city?
I would say we see it like what we also have. We have like quite a huge level of or well-educated level of social work on the side, and that was not always like that. We reacted to the situation that we got a lot of new people in the house with like migration background or refugee situations, and we had also we had the need to learn our social work skills, and that's how, like, to answer your question, is like as we have that team of social workers on the side, we have like a close case management systems, like where we walk or go with the people over a long time. Like they come into here, we try to find corridors to other possibilities. Like it's like a holistic system somehow. And so I would say we definitely see the impact of the work. And I think the combination of social work and artistic work and educational and cultural work is the working system.
What does like your work mean in the community you are building in Berlin and Kreuzberg, on cultural level and political level? If like so if we take your work, the whole association out, it doesn't exist. Does it have like the meaning of
my
work?
first answer is like it's a home for a lot of people. So it's really like the it's like for a lot of people, it's like a place where you go and feel safe and home, and you have a community around you who cares, and you can like be here and do something, or you can be here and don't do something. That's also fine. And then what Carla said, that we have different spaces in the city, not just in Kreuzberg. We create community spaces in communities which are neglected. What's verlassen? Neglected and marginalized spaces, and that makes a huge difference for people who are living in that areas where nothing else exists, more or less.
Maybe also to add the numbers, we are like on a daily basis, they're coming like about 100 people or trainees to us, and the organization has about 40 people working here. So it's a place for 100 people on a daily basis to come here, start their day at 8:30 and leave the place at 3 o'clock or even a bit later when the workshops are finished.
And do you see this as a political activity?
I would say all of our activities are political in a way, but I think it's a political act because it changes situations of real people here in the city. And on another level, we are quite close with the municipality or with the communal political situation. So we are like in direct conversations with the politicians on some level, just to understand ourselves more or less as an institution who also names or calls out challenges in the system.
We also have it's not one project, the Schlesi, it's an institution with a lot of different projects. We have bigger projects and smaller projects. But for example, one project, Stadtwerk Marzahn, was like a place created in the outskirts of Berlin, in Marzahn, in an area which was or still is pretty neglected. And it was a very political project because suddenly in a place which the government or the local government is not taking care at all, community space starts to arise or evolve, and people start to be part of a place and to interact. And it also sets a focus that there are places, in this case, which are totally not supplied with enough infrastructure. Like there is no community spaces, there is no places for children, there's no places.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's a McDonald's.
There's a McDonald's. So
that's all.
No
supermarket, no.
I feel it's totally
no cafe.
Political, the idea itself to start, and it's called Stadtwerk Marzahn, and the idea is also to put a center on the outskirts of Berlin and not focus everything on the center of Berlin.
All of our work is political, connected to the situation that we are all we are all influenced by the global political situation, and we are working mostly with persons from other countries which are a lot harder influenced by the political situations. So the people are coming here, but the situation doesn't change in the countries where they're coming from. And how are we connected with the ways of migration, and what's our responsibility in it, and what's the connection? That's what's always like working in the background of our work. And sometimes it turns out in a viewable experience, like installation or something which you can experience, that you really like point out to a certain topic. But in general, it's always our work, because the people in front of us are, like the core of the situation are sitting in front of us in our house. So that's what we are dealing with. And we are saying like the city should, or I'm saying personally, the city should be able, also on a political way, to open systems for new knowledge, for new input, for all the resources we have. And a lot of our people, my colleagues and people here in the house, put it by force in a passive situation. And that's a political construct. And that's what we are dealing with, actually. And we're trying to find new experimental ways to empower people in that shitty situation they are stuck in. And that we're doing by real work with a person, but we're also doing it on a political level. And that's we're doing in like, networking, in conversations, in campaigning work and conference, etc.
Okay, and you mentioning community a lot, no? Like you mentioned community, this communities. You said that like 100 times maybe. How important is community, and how important is like for you to build your own community around you and work with them?
I would say like it depends how you define community. Like our community is all the different people we're working with, and we are doing stuff with together. But I would also say like I'm not an expert of a certain community. Like we have so different.
I think
the African community, for example, we have a big community of people of color. So that's the community which I'm not part of it, but they're still in the community of the house, or a huge Syrian community. And what we're trying to do is to not speak for them. We are more like trying to create situations where the communities are coming together. And then
what does a community mean then?
The community of the house?
In general, what is community? If you like, I mean, like if you're saying like a people of color community and then Syrian community, does it like a geographical like place where they come from, defining their community, or?
I think we have different approaches towards community. We work with like communities with different backgrounds where they come from. We also work with communities we find on a certain place around us, because we are not only working in the Stesi, we're also on this places out in the city. So there we're working with the community, the local community living or working around us. And as there's, I think, community on different levels or on different layers. We have a house community who is coming to the Schlesi. We have within this Schlesi community, we have the Black community, which they form an own project. We have a community of Syrian women, which have a
and maybe it's not always like connected to a background. It's more like that the invitation is that we are saying recreating a community in the context of S27, and you're welcome to be part of it if you want to be involved in the processes. And that's like, I think if I look from the social work perspective on the construct, is that it is a space, a physical space where you can be and just be. You don't have to do something all the time. It's like, because most of the people who are coming to our place are in really precarious, is that an English word?
Precarious, yeah.
Precarious situations. And always someone wants something from them. You have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And the community of S27 tries to create emotional, physical spaces where people can connect.
If you break it down, I think it's a few elements which...
it's a family.
Yeah, and it's a few elements. It's the... it's this... it's like that there is a social working section, there is a German class section, there is a workshop section. So you get everything in one place. It's not like you're going to a German class somewhere, you get your social work from somewhere. It's like all in one house. And everybody is eating together to lunchtime. There, I think it's a space where a lot of exchange happens without being professional in the context of learning German or being in a workshop, in a setup of a workshop.
I want to ask like something else now. A colleague of mine like met you and told me that you are like working on the using hair wars, impactful representation. You try to change mind, you change perspective, perceptions of socioculture, social culture.
Yes.
And they told me so many nice things. So I was, and as I understand you, like from our talk now, you're aiming to do a big change, and or at least that's what I'm getting from what you saying. So my question would be, what is change, and is change possible through art and culture?
Yes, simple question. I would say yes.
How? What is the change you want, and how?
What you said before, it's about the perception. If I realize that everything around me is constructed by human beings and society, it's also possible to deconstruct it. And that's what you can experience through art and cultural work or workshops or situations or conversations. It's like really to have a change in deeply, like, or more, to have a change of the perception and the belief that something is set up just because you always lived it like that. No one says that school has to be like school is, or no one says that the public space has to look like it is. It's like you have to experience that you can change things. And if you learn it in the little, if you experience it in the little, you can scale it up to the big scale. And that's, as a non-artist person, it's possible through art because you experience things you never experienced before and you feel good in it.
And it's also that we are working a lot with people stuck in systems, like in different layers of systems. And when they come here, they experience what I tried to explain before, that it hasn't to be how you learned, like a German class hasn't to be as it's written in a book. You can also learn German in a workshop context. And I think art and culture can open up the possibilities. Also you have tools on your hand. Everything is possible in the sector of art and culture. You can play with it. You can, I think the question, what if, helps a lot, because with the question, what if, you can play and you can build up a society, you can build up projects which maybe in our system, which we have now, is not working, but you can create these ideas and pictures of what if. So I think it's more about the learning, changing the process of changing, instead of learning what is change. Like
when I got the job, they were like telling me like, you do like profile what the Soziokultur, and I was like, huh? What is that? So so the whole project is my journey to understand what is Soziokultur, and trying to ask everybody how you define Soziokultur. And that's my
really
question.
Can't give a good answer to that, actually.
Everybody says that, but then everybody's giving me a good answer.
I can speak like for my person, I like also my really with the social classes on. It's necessary to connect people who are living in a city above just like this system needed skills you need. Like you have to work, you have to go to school, you have to achieve this. But a big part of the personal being is also to be in communities and to get an action out of what you always get told to do.
I think it's the Begriff, also the word socioculture, it doesn't say what it actually can be. I think it's describing, like the word doesn't sound like what it actually can be, because I think the potential in it is that it connects different life aspects or different aspects of a city or social aspects in one practice. Like space is a topic, social aspects are a topic, environment can be a topic, education is a topic. So it has the potential, socioculture, to combine a lot of disciplines in one practice.
This podcast is supported by Fonds Soziokultur. The music is composed by Benjamin Berry. See you in the next episode.